without having to raise our voices.
I hear very badly, and I almost have to have Jane repeat the question to me because I don't hear very well at all.
Is one side better than the other?
Well, if you were here,
No, she is gonna be asking you the questions. I'm gonna help you with the answer.
okay.
Okay.
Well, I'm talking about you being here.
No, I don't wanna be there.
I didn't understand a word you said.
I think we've just learned the secret to a happy marriage, right? She didn't hear you. She doesn't want to be over there, so. Very good. Well,
I'll help you right there.
yeah. So with all of these sculptors, we have technical questions,
Okay,
but we're gonna start with more big questions.
all right.
Okay? So I'm gonna start really big.
Okay.
What role would you say you see sculpture playing in the world?
Well, I think we're more visual than anything else, so if it lasts in a visual way, a substantive way, it'll last longer. Otherwise, it'll just perish. Everything perishes rather rapidly. We're one of them. Yeah, we don't last very long. So if we do something that survives some of the chaos that is happening all the time, well then it has a long legacy. There's a certain legacy that keeps repeating itself, but it is very repetitious. Almost everything that I've observed recently has happened before. And if you pick up a piece of sculpture that is made 14,000 years ago, it's still there.
Saying what it said.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So when you look at your work and you think about what was behind it at the time you were making it, and then you look at it today.
Well, I really don't think about it. I really don't. It's sort of the vitality of the human spirit, and you don't have to think about it. It's like falling in love. You don't have to think about it. You just do it, and so I don't think I have anything too profound to say that hasn't been said before. And so all we have to know is know about history.
Okay.
And the substantive value of what we can pick up and hold in our hands.
So when you were doing work, how were you, I'll say, how were you finding the piece?
I don't know. It's like trying to figure out how you're going to kiss. So I just don't have anything that's any more profound than what's already been said. And
So did you first kiss with a pencil or with a pen?
well, generally, yes, there is that. I generally quite frequently just might sketch some little thing and on a piece of paper, and then sort of make a skeletal thing, and then just keep going.
Yeah.
And you don't really think about it. You just do it.
You just go.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's not a thought process.
So who all here works like that, where you're just working with your material and it's taking you down a path?
At times, yeah.
Yeah, at times, yeah. So a variety, yeah. Let's see, do you sometimes, have you had pieces where you start thinking it's going one direction and then, you know, like when the kiss just doesn't turn out sometimes.
That's right. If you can't forgive and change, you really don't need a mind. You have to be able to, so.
Adapting and changing. Okay, but sometimes it just doesn't work.
That's right.
So do you think of a piece where, you know, you really worked on it and you thought it was going a certain way, and then no matter what you did?
Yeah, there's always that fear, not really a fear, but an apprehension that your first ideas and you start it and it keeps getting worse.
Right? Yeah.
And I had something happen. I had a rather large piece in here, and I was there quite a while, and I didn't work on it. There's other things came up, and I did them, and some other things just, I needed some money, so it was kind of a commercial job, but I tried not to think about that. And so this piece was there, and I decided, well, I'm going to change it. So I started tearing it apart. And what did I find? A bee, a queen bee. A queen bee was living in there for about 4 years and waiting for the right time. So I very carefully took her and put her outside. And so she probably started a hive, and so it was kind of surprising to realize that she was eating whatever she needed out of the clay, the plasticine, all those 4 years. Huh?
Was it wax? Was it the wax?
Was it wax?
No, it was plasticine.
Plasticine.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
So, it's amazing how we can somehow survive on a certain instinct, a certain love. I think it's hard to, I think if you don't have love, you don't have anything. You know, if you hate is harder on you than it is the person you hate or the thing you hate. So,
Well, this is a much mushier interview than I thought it was going to be. We have kissing, we have love, this is fantastic. So, you mentioned this piece being this big piece here.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about going from early on, working smaller, and then getting to this large scale?
Oh, well, if most of my work to begin with was hand size. You could hold it in your palm, and you could turn it every which way. And every way you turned it, it had to have a certain kind of vitality. And so a good example of that would be the Salem Civic Center fountain.
Okay.
And what I turned in was a little thing that I had in my hand. There was a group of people there, and I turned it, and they thought, well, yeah, but how would you make something that small so huge?
Right.
And that was my thought also. And so I had to think about having certain rigid stainless steel inside of it at certain spots, and have it welded, and there are certain tools you can make to drill it, and you have a certain, you clamp it, and it's, I even forget the word now.
But you've got this armature underneath.
Well, no, I build the big forms,
Okay.
and then you put them together, and they come together like this in two little spots. And so, of course, those spots by that time they'll be about this big around, you see.
Yeah.
And then you can weld through or make a spot rivet and stainless steel. And so I told the people, they wondering, how is that going to work? And I had submersible pumps.
Right.
Submersible pumps in the pool, and it was getting so safe that they wouldn't work. And if they didn't work, that was fine. Because they would shut themselves off. I mean,
Oh.
the pumps wouldn't work
Just,
because it was too safe. It was unsafe.
okay.
Question. Is that a picture up there, James, of the piece that you were talking about, or is that just another
No,
piece?
no.
That's something different.
No, the piece I was talking about is out there on the lawn.
Okay.
No, you mean,
That big piece.
oh, you mean, yes. So that was a wax that was in here for years.
Yeah, that was, wasn't wax, it was plastic,
no.
plasticine.
It wasn't?
Well, it might have been in wax also, but to begin with, it was in plasticine.
Okay, well, anyway, I said to Jim, what are you gonna do with this? You're gonna keep it here forever? Or are we gonna cast it? So he worked on it and cast it, and it's out in the middle lawn.
That was the piece with the bee.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So whether it was plasticine or wax.
Whatever it was.
That's.
It
no.
goes
Yeah.
through, you
Yeah.
know, from,
Yeah.
So,
it begins in wax,
yeah,
and then it goes to plasticine, and then it goes to
Okay.
wax again.
okay,
So it's a trident.
of the the
Uh-huh,
process.
yeah, everything has to happen. So it's a three-stage process at a minimum.
Right.
So one of the
Right.
things that Jim's done over the years, I'm gonna add this, is that he would make a piece and he would save the molds because he wasn't sure if he was gonna make additions or someone would need something later. But then over the years, when he had his workers here from Portland State University, they'd have some empty time and say, make waxes. So that's what all these waxes are here. And some of the molds have been saved. So the pieces morph from the original. He will have the mold, but he will change it. Because every single piece that has a mold is worked on before it's cast. So he never just makes a mold, throws it in, and burns it out and pours bronze. That never happened. He always worked on the piece from the beginning to the end. So that's what that table over there demonstrates. How he starts, how he makes the molds, how he has the wax, how he works on the wax, and then how the wax gets cast. And then after it's cast, he works on it even more to create
The unique.
the thing that he wants, you know, the image, the surface film, whatever.
Yeah.
So every single piece is original by James Lee Hansen. Nobody, even though people have worked here, they don't get to work on the sculpture in that way, finishing or anything. Jim has done all of that. But no more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For that lovely span of time, and then you had those helping hands.
Yes, people thought, you know, you have a foundry, but the foundry is just the actual casting. It only takes a little while. You know, it takes 2 or 3 days to cast something. You might be working on things for years, and it only takes a little while to cast it. So I always thought, well, if everything burned down, we just have everything valuable put in the kiln. Put in, and then they'd be safe.
I'm gonna take you back to that fountain.
Okay.
Okay, so here's my question. Did you propose a piece and really have to discover how to make that a big piece when they said yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you talk to us about courage?
About what?
Courage.
Courage. Courage.
Courage, because I don't know about you,
I
but
don't think about that.
No, he does not.
If you can do it, do it.
Jim honestly
You
doesn't
don't have to
fear.
think about
No,
it too
no.
much.
so you just go
Because,
for it.
well, what was I going to say? I was going to, when that question is asked, I told them, well, you get 6 or 7 football players and put a line on it, and if they can move that an inch by pulling on it, you don't have to pay for it. That's what I said. And they didn't do it because maybe they were afraid it would get complicated. But I don't think anybody could pull that over.
Okay, But you just did it.
Uh-huh, yeah, and then because the pumps, submersible pumps that I put in the pools were so,
Sensitive.
the circuitry was so compromised that they wouldn't run. So we had to take all them out
Okay.
and put the electricity to that away from the pool.
Okay. So this goes to something I hear from artists who talk about, oh, this artist is really successful. They make it look so easy. Any comments on what easy looks like from behind the scenes?
Nothing is easy. I don't think.
No, it's
Not easy, but it's work. But it's fun. It's fun work. It's what you want to do.
yeah.
So it's not work, but it's not easy. Sometimes it's
The
difficult.
most important things that maybe happen in our life is falling in love. But you don't think about it, it just happened.
That is easier said than done. When it comes to sculpture, at least.
Oh.
Oh. So,
Hindsight.
in hindsight.
Yes.
Yes.
He is 100, remember?
Yeah. No, there's.
Many years.
What do you wish you had known when you very first started out?
Oh. I'll tell you, one of the things that irks me even to this day is when I was introduced to Annie, my first wife. I just got out of the Navy. I came home and she had worked for my dad for just a little bit, but she was in a nurse's class. She was going to be a nurse. And I'm making this more complicated than it is, but her name was Hair, H-A-I-R, H-A-I-R, not H-A-R-E. And if the students broke anything, there was in the nurses' school, there was such and such an article was broken, or so-and-so made a mistake. Well, there was a sign, rectal thermometer broken by, and she just signed her Annie, Hair. Rectal thermometer broken by a hair. Well, I just threw that in as an But when I first met Annie, I just got back from the war.
World War II.
And I was introduced to her, and she was just beautiful. And I went like this, turn around, and she did. Turned around, and I thought, later, I didn't think, I wasn't even thinking then. And I think, what a gross thing to do. Yeah, turn around. And she did. Of course she did. I was some sort of hero and some sort of genius. Why wouldn't she turn around? But, so, I that's one of those things that I regret ever doing. And
That's nice.
to this day, I regret it.
Just a side note, I think it was your sculptural instinct to see.
You knew she was a work of art.
Huh?
Yeah.
You knew she was a work of art
She
from
Right.
was
the start.
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Oh. So, I don't know who to ask, but can you give kind of a thumbnail sketch of what's happened here at this property?
Oh,
that
yeah.
might be a Jane
Yeah.
question.
So Jim was taken out by Highway 500 by the state, the Department of Transportation. His original studio, which is all around us because he brought it with him, was built during 46 through 50. And they had to move in 77. They found this piece of property which had the house. He had to buy the second piece of property going west so he could build the studio. The other property he and I bought in 98 together so we could make it the whole place. We didn't want to have like who knows what. Anyway, that happened. But Jim and Annie moved here in 77. That was the year I was married to his best friend. We still lived in Vancouver. They moved. He had, I think, 2 or 3 commissions right then and there. So the studio had to go up. Everything had to be running. And he had, I believe, 4 guys from Portland State University that were his students. So they were all here working for pay. Jim never had volunteer workers. He always paid everyone that worked with him. So in 90...
So the foundry, so all of that moved.
Everything came from Vancouver to Battleground.
Okay.
And he had to get it all set up right now. Because the big piece that went to Washington State University in Pullman, that was finished in 80. The Salem fountain that he's been talking about, that was placed, I think, in 79. So he just had a very short period of time to get this built.
Yeah.
It wasn't even here, this building.
Yeah.
And then he continued working at Portland State Tuesdays and Thursdays, and he worked the whole day and evening so that he could actually be working on his sculpture Monday, Wednesday through Friday. He retired in 90. So really 77, 87, and Annie died in 93, and we got together in 94. And my husband had died in 92. So all of us were friends, and it was kind of nice to get together with someone who knew who I had been with. And we were all friends, so there was no animosity at all. So we just started working together. He handed me everything to do but the sculpture, and then I cleaned out the studio several times over the years. And he worked until just about 4 years ago, working on the stainless steel pieces that are here. And he was using these ancient grinders that weigh probably 40 pounds or 50 pounds to grind on the big stainless steel. And I think it was just getting to him, and he just said, okay, that's it, I'm done. So from that point on, then I totally cleaned out the studio and created kind of a museum. I left everything the way he had it. Didn't clean anything or change anything that way. Just moved things around.
So I think this is part of the answer of how sculptors make things look easy,
Oh,
right? I mean, if we all had a Jane, I mean, that would be a pretty amazing if we all had a Jane in our lives
Yeah,
to help our
I'm
process.
sitting here now and I'm looking at this piece, and it's a really iconic piece. It's actually one of the very first iconic pieces, and I'm very happy with it.
yeah.
I think you don't need to be modest anymore.
Well,
Honestly.
it is really tougher to be. It's tough to be humble.
Good, just go for it. Yeah, yeah. So you taught school in a number of different places, and I'm wondering, given that experience of seeing students start and grow in their craft, and thinking about the world right now, what would you tell a new student today?
Gosh, I think you've all heard it though. It's love's the most important thing. You love your neighbor as yourself. That's basically.
Yeah.
If you can do that, and it's probably hard sometimes, but if you do that, you can get along. There's so many terrible things happening in the world that shouldn't, I don't know. I don't know what should happen and what shouldn't happen. You can't have light if you don't have darkness. And so,
On we go.
yeah.
Onward, yeah.
Yeah. Can I keep asking questions?
Sure.
Yes. Okay, fabulous. So, can you describe what a normal day looked for you, or a normal week looked for you in the studio, after you had moved here? You have these pieces going, the foundry's going, you have students who are helping you. Like, what did life look like? You'd get up in the morning and what happened?
Well, I think I explained that in that little stint on the
OPB.
Organ Art Beat. I explained that you just went with the flow. If something came up, well, you stop what you're doing and do that, go back and forth, and whatever is you have time to do, you do it. So it just, you don't have to really think about it because the world's changing all the time. Everything changes, so you have to change with it. You don't say, well, let this go and do it. You just kind of slice it together, just like putting your hands together.
It was just natural for you.
Yeah.
Well, I would guess I'm not alone in, okay, well, maybe it is just me, who has trouble saying, all right, I need to set aside time to just work on concepts. And if that's sketching or working with clay or whatever, and having a hard time, because like you're talking about, there's all these different elements that need happening. You have students who need to be told what to do. You have commissions that you need to be responding to. You have a proposal that you're trying to, that bit about finding the design time, creative time. Do you have any advice for those of us who struggle with that part?
Well, I think to begin with, you just have to be, you don't have to be, but you just are. You're either a sculptor or you're not.
And if you are, then you're just sculpting,
Yeah,
and everything else finds its place around that work.
Yeah.
there's, I remember, there was a church in Butte, Montana. And the person who sort of did church work asked me if I could do something for the church, a big reredo of something behind the altar. And I said yes, so I made a little sketch about like this, and it'd be about 30 feet high or something like that. And so I made it, made a photograph of it, sent it, and I just say they liked it. So they said, well, go ahead and start. And I didn't have a contract or anything. And so I wrote and said, well, I'll need to have a third down and another third when I was, just the payments in thirds. And so I had to go, I think I went on the train to Butte, and I and the priest went, and we stayed. We signed the contract in old brothel.
That's true.
In Butte. And so I thought that was pretty funny. and so anyway, it got done.
So
and
it got
that
done.
Photograph
It's up
right
here.
out there.
It got done because of Keith Jones.
Huh?
Keith Jones
Yeah.
knocked on your door,
Yeah.
said, I want to work with you, and you said, great, I have a job. Here we go.
Yeah.
So any of you who know Keith Jellum, he's, I'm not sure if he's still with us now, but he was in a care facility, and I think Keith is probably nearing 100, maybe he's 80, maybe. I'm trying to remember the age difference, but he came to work, he just heard about Jim and just knocked on his door and said, I want to be a sculptor. He had a degree in mathematics, and he had been a football player for University of Washington, and so he was a graduate. And so that was his first job with Jim, and they did the reredos in an arc, and it had to have a certain, radius, and so Keith just whipped that right out, and there you were. And then it was quite the job, and you can take a look at the photograph, but it's in 3 sections by, I think, 4 or 6. So they are all individually cast, and then they're put together on site. And then he also did the bronze doors that were in the entrance, which were really wonderful. I was able to take a field trip about 20 years ago, and they had just painted inside, and the bronze doors looked really good. They're just sheet metal bronze. And yeah, So all those jobs, there are certain jobs that just came to Jim because he was kind of the only person around. Now that's, we're talking about 1950 to 1960. It was a different world here in Vancouver. Portland was just, it's just a small town, really. So there was a small art group, and they all, kind of helped each other along, and some got teaching jobs, some were working, some were in galleries right away. It just all happened kind of organically, like Jim says. What comes your way?
If you know, love is at the center of all that, and you're paying.
Huh?
If you know that love is at the center of all of that, and you're
Yes.
kind of paying attention, because
Yes.
that's the.
And he had a supportive wife. She worked at the phone company for the first 10 years of their marriage. She worked a swing shift. He took care of their daughter. He built the house and the studio. He was doing jobs. So it was a different world in those days where everyone was helping each other.
Yes, I put my first Linda in a little cardboard box and stuffed toys around her, and
This is a daughter, not a sculpture.
and pulled her around when I was working, and so I don't think I raised her to be a little girl.
Yeah, she
I
imprinted.
raised her to be working,
Yeah.
it's because she watched me work all the time when she was growing up. And so I think she wanted, I made her a nice little doll bed, rocker. She wasn't interested, she wanted a toolbox. So.
The other thing about Jim's original site where he was is that it was a part of his father's property that he bought from his dad. They put a tiny house, not even this big, maybe half the size of this. There was no toilet, there was outhouse, there was no running water. So, we have to think, we take all of that for granted, and he just started sculpting, started working, was going to school. He just was in it.
And
Yeah,
we had an outhouse.
Yes,
We
you
didn't
did.
even have
Yeah.
a toilet.
Right.
Yeah, right, and
Yeah.
I was in the outhouse, and there was a friend of mine from school. He was on the police department. I don't know how he wasn't in the service, but he was in the police department, and he was bringing his girlfriend to see me, introduced me, and I was in the outhouse. I tried to get up fast, and the outhouse collapsed. And I'm hanging on, and I yelled at him. He come pull me out, and then he introduced me to so and so, a beautiful blonde girl. But I did so many different things. I worked as a longshoreman, and I worked as a lineman, and on both sides of the river. And I remember when I was on the longshoreman, we had right there where just west of the bridge, there was a dock, and the ship was there, and they had a big boom and a big net on the ground, and we had to take these big sugar sacks, I guess, and load them on a hand truck, and get it rolling, and I weighed 155 pounds, and I had to get some volition to get it going. I couldn't hardly start it just by pushing it. So I got a little volition going, and the faster I went, the better it was, because I had the volition working with me. And so here comes the net laid out on the wharf. And so I'm going as fast as I can, and I run into the ropes and dump them. And the volition, that's the only vitality I had, was that volition. And the guy that was standing there, he says, slow down, kid. And I says, you do your job, I'll do mine. He was the boss.
And that's why Jim's a sculptor. And it's done so
And
well.
so I didn't go in the next day. I knew he wouldn't accept me.
Well, another art question.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
A fascinating thing that I read about you was the surrealist sculptor from New York invited you to come out and work with him.
Oh, yeah.
And do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And could you say what you told him and how you felt about all that? I forgot his name, the sculptor.
Yeah, the artist's name was, I
But
think,
it was a big deal.
It
It
was
was,
a
hey,
big
come to New York and be part of the big
Yeah.
sculpture happening
so
in
it
New
was an
York.
exhibit at the Portland Art Museum of a sculptor, and he was taking everyone around, the important people, and he walked, the museum school happened to be part of the museum then, the art school was part of the museum. So he walked through the studio and he looked in and saw Jim working, and he said, who's that? I want to see his work. And he loved his work, said, come along with me, I want to show you my work. So
Yeah, I had a personal tour.
yes. And then he wanted you to come to New York and work with him, and you told him nothing grows. Nothing grows under the shade of a.
Oh yeah, nothing grows under the shade of a big tree.
Mhm.
That's what I said
Yeah.
to him. And so,
It
but I'd
was-
heard that.
Bruno Scully? No. What was the name of the artist? Do you remember?
That's a Northwest statement for you.
Do you remember the name of the artist? It's
No, I
at the
can't.
tip of my tongue.
Andy
I thought it was Leibniz.
Who?
Leibniz?
Leibniz?
Littman.
Yeah.
Littman?
Leibniz.
Was it Littman? 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 No, I don't think
No,
so.
Lippman was my instructor.
Littman is his instructor.
Yeah, he's from here.
Yeah, yeah.
Lipschitz.
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 Very
Yeah.
close.
Too
Yeah.
many L's.
Too many L's.
Yeah.
Anyway, yes, that happened to Jim as a student, I think 1949 or 50.
That's a good guy.
So
Yeah.
being here in the Northwest, how has the Northwest informed your work? And what, in addition to not wanting to be in the shade of a big tree, you've stayed where there are literal big trees. How has that affected the work that you've done?
I think it was a bit of a blessing because I think I just thought about my work. I didn't think about. I wasn't concerned. Let's say I may have thought about it, but I wasn't concerned about. I knew that you had to be in the yellow pages of the telephone.
So you weren't concerned about art critics and
No.
galleries
No,
and
no,
that whole
no.
No.
social media wasn't
Uh-huh.
keeping you up at night?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember after the Fountain Gallery closed after the fire, and I was all the artists, all the painters, everybody lost their work.
It was devastating.
And my work, fortunately, was all there during the fire, and none of it was lost. Some of it was friable and fell through to the next floor below and broke apart, and I had to put it together again. But I looked upon that as another chance to make it a little better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's a good example of like some kind of disaster that was an opportunity for you. What are other, can you name another kind of big moment in your life as a sculptor that had a particular impact that didn't involve kissing? That didn't involve kissing. So big moments in your life. You've talked about the people in your life who have been so important. As a sculptor, have there been moments where something really special has happened? So the guy knocking on your door and saying, "Hey, I want to be a sculptor, and I happen to be a mathematician and a football player that might come in handy."
Yeah, it did.
You know?
Sure.
Other moments in your life where you just go, "Oh wow, that was a really special thing that affected what came next."
I think,
Oh,
what about the commission for the Olympic campus?
The Olympic campus.
Olympia, for the Washington State Capitol campus.
oh,
Yeah, that was
yeah.
a big one.
Let's see.
That was 1970. So that was a few years before you moved out here, and that's the piece up there.
Yeah, that's.
And it's about 20 feet long, somewhere in there, 9 feet, 10 feet, I don't remember. Something like that, 10 by 20 or something.
Where was that?
So that's at the Olympia, at the Capitol campus in Olympia, Washington.
Did he make it here?
It's,
Did
no,
he? Oh.
no, the sculpture campus there is fabulous. If you've never been, it's the Capitol campus. They have a map and they've got all kinds of outdoor sculpture there and gardens. It's beautiful. So this was a brand new thing through Jim Hazeltine, who was the first arts commissioner of the state of Washington. Happened to be friends with Jim also. So, you know, it's a smaller world with, you know, like, you just have more opportunities and a lot of the bigger jobs. But now, and also I want people to realize that Jim helped start the percentage of art for buildings. He was on that. A lot of people don't know that about him, but he really believes artists should be paid for their work. And he believed in getting the percentage for buildings, for art. And that's how all of this, you know, art out here has happened. Not this art, but everyone who's out there, yeah. And he's not in every collection. So it's a good thing for the world to have art. I know in my life, I grew up without art, but I grew up in California that had an excellent education program at the time. And so we did, you know, museum trips, all kinds of gardens, museums, the forest. And so all of that exposure was valuable to me as an adult when I met my late husband and saw art in a house. I didn't have any art in my house, my apartment. My late husband brought all these paintings over and hung them up in my apartment because he said, you can't live without art, you know. So I didn't know that you couldn't live without art. But I try to convince everyone they really can't live without art. Because, you know, I look through a window and see art now. It's not always, you know, your vision changes when you're around art. And I know all of you here are artists, so you probably have that. But I try to give that to everyone that comes to my house, you know, that this is my home. This is art everywhere. The grounds, the sculpture. We have a lot of Northwest artists in our house, in our own collection. So I think Jim is a legend and a legacy for Clark County, definitely. So I'm really grateful that he's getting this attention after all these years. When I got together with him in '94, everyone thought he was dead. So there are 3 James Lee Hansens. One is here with us. There's another one who's about 10 or 20 years older, who was an artist, but I think he passed away maybe early. So, and then the other one was my age and lived on the East Coast and was an artist, not a sculptor, but a painter. So he died in '97. So a lot of people thought this James Lee Hansen was gone. We had to recreate him again. But I got that all straightened out, yeah. One more thing. Yeah. So,
Very good.
well, it's getting late, and you might want to take a look around the grounds and down in the gallery building, and
The gallery is open?
the gallery's open. Yeah.
Yeah, there's books for sale too.
Yes. I have poetry books for sale.
Well, I know Pacific Northwest Sculptors is a group of artists that originally started kind of like the group that you started with,
Right.
not exactly, but it was based on that idea of facilitating art and supporting each other in what we're doing with inspiration and camaraderie, and that's what you've brought us today, and I thank you so much,
Oh,
both of you.
it's a real honor to meet you all, and I'm really proud of.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.